Hi, it's Kim. I just wanted to talk to you today, basically about an experience I had a little while ago, a few weeks ago now. And I don't know if you're aware, I have on Facebook a anorexia support group, closed group in Facebook. And there's about sort of 70 people in there now, I think, something like that. And so I have people request to join the group, and I kind of, approve them. There are some people that I don't approve because obviously it's a very vulnerable group, and we've had issues in the past where we've had people kind of like prey on other people in the group. So I have to be very careful. It's a very delicate matter. And so a few weeks ago, I had a lady request to join the group. And hi Stacey, how are you? And Stacey, you'll know this story as well. I'm just going to be talking about the experience that you already are aware of in the anorexia support group. And basically I had a request from a lady who wanted to join the group, and at first, I don't know, I thought I was quite sort of, I don't know what word was it, and actually kind of, she made me chuckle a little bit in a way, because her reactions to things were very different to mine. As in, we would have somebody within the group kind of, pull their heart out, tell everybody about the struggles, what they were, going through, how desperate they were feeling, etc. And she would just kind of like have this one word answer. But it was basically, and she would sort of say, fine, or okay. And I thought, oh, how strange. And I thought she'd maybe, I don't know, because I know a lot of people, I've come across people who aren't, aren't that confident socially and just don't have that kind of like empathy, etc. But I thought, as a kind of like, a fellow sufferer, she would have some, it just surprised me. But at the start, it just kind of made me chuckle, I guess, because, I wasn't kind of like used to that sort of attitude, and I was quite intrigued by it and quite curious about it. But then the comments got a little bit more, and, she started commenting on people's looks. And the thing is, with eating disorders, they are nothing about what we look like. There is no typical what you look like when you have an eating disorder. And the thing that is most ill about you is your head. So, and again, I would have thought that as a person who was struggling herself, or claimed to be struggling herself, I thought that was very odd. And she was commenting on other people and what they look like, and just asking quite a lot of personal questions which are very triggering to other people who have an eating disorder. And so her kind of like her comments were very, very odd, and I know that she was upsetting some people within the group. And obviously, as it's my group, it was my responsibility to kind of like deal with this and sort it out. It's not one person's group, it is the group is set up for everybody. And it was really important for me to kind of like, for people to be able to feel comfortable to talk about their issues in that group, and not feel that they were going to be judged or anything like that. And that's the beauty of this group. There's such support for each other. Even though everybody's sort of struggling themselves, there is such support for each other in this group, and that's what I love about the group. So anyway, so this woman sort of like had all these comments, and I basically messaged this lady and kind of like told her that, I felt that what she was kind of, putting on, commenting was not appropriate, and that, could she not see that it could be triggering, and basically, excuse me, she had no idea. She just, she was very sort of, she wasn't, apologetic that the fact that she'd upset anybody. She just basically felt that she should be given a free voice. No matter what her opinion was, she should be given a free voice. And yes, people have the right to have a free voice, etc. But in my group, that's not what I was looking for. It is a support group. That is what it's there. It's not a group to kind of like to bitch at other people, or to put other people down, or to judge other people. We can feel that from other areas in our lives. This is, it's supposed to be a safe space for people. So basically I decided to block her, and it didn't make me feel great. I'd had to block a guy sort of like previously, I think it was around Christmas time, for kind of messaging inappropriately to other members of the group. So again, like I said, it's very, it's a group full of, the majority of vulnerable women, and I take responsibility for that, and and I hope that I do, as I've said, I do the best that I can when I see things that aren't sort of like happening properly, and kind of being supportive. Then I feel that it's my job to kind of like to take action, and so I blocked her. And there was a part of me that kind of thought, because I didn't want her to feel kind of that, because I remember going into residential treatment myself, and I'd not gone in before, and I wasn't sure. Well, I've always been, as you can probably tell, I've always been very open about my eating disorder. I've never, although, I kind of wanted to keep it a secret and keep behaviours a secret, etc. for a while, I was always quite open about sort of like my feelings and things like that, and and even, I suppose, to some point, kind of my weight. I don't know. I think once I'd gone into residential, I was very much like, right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to take it seriously, and I need to sort of like get better. I got to that point, so I guess I was quite open by that stage. Maybe I wasn't so much before, actually, but anyway, so I was open about that. I didn't know what the rules or kind of like the kind of like the etiquette, I suppose, involved in residential. And I know that I did upset some people, because I was quite open about talking about kind of, I suppose, BMI and various things like that, and behaviours and whatever. And I know that I did upset somebody, and I didn't, genuinely didn't mean to. It was just my kind of, it was different to me. So I guess I sort of, there was a part of me thinking that, well, maybe she was like me, maybe she just didn't know that actually it was triggering for some people, etc. and whatever. So there was a part of me that still kind of like thought, oh, am I doing the right thing, is, etc. And then I got a message from her, a Facebook message, and it said, "Screw you, bitch." And I was just gobsmacked, and I guess it took me by surprise, but then I kind of thought, okay. But then the good thing was that just kind of like, to me, that had just shown that I'd made the right decision. It confirmed to me that actually this was a kind of person that I did not want in my group at all. And she did send another message after that, probably a bit more venomously with the F word and stuff, and yeah. But basically, it's really strange because that would have really bothered me. It would have really, really, really sort of like, it would have upset me, and I'd have been kind of like really like, oh my gosh, what have I done? This woman is kind of like really like not liking me, and I've really upset her, and she's really hateful towards me, and da-di-da-di-da, that would have really bothered me. But since kind of like now, having kind of like gone through everything that I've gone through and worked on myself, etc., it didn't bother me. I was able to see that the issue was with her. It was her issue, and not mine. And it didn't matter what I did. That was her personality. That was her character. And and actually I've seen her interact in other groups, and she's very much the same. And so, but that's okay, because that's nothing to do with me. It's not my, she's not in my group anymore, and I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, so, and it's amazing, I think, to how much I have managed to change, and how a comment like that would have really bothered me just doesn't anymore, And funnily enough, I got I got trolled on this page actually recently, and again, this woman was kind of like questioning my use of an image that I used, etc. And I tried to explain my kind of like thoughts behind this, and why I used the image that I did. But I asked her, really, and I sort of said, I'm really, really sorry if it's caused offence. Didn't mean it to cause offence, and okay, so could you suggest something better for kind of like going forward in the future? And she could not give me an answer, but she just continued to sort of say like about this image that I'd used. And funnily enough, I'd actually changed the image myself, and I'd put together a blog, and I'd actually changed the image, but for some reason when I shared the link for the blog, it came up with the original image. So actually, if she'd have clicked on the actual proper blog, she wouldn't have seen that image. So but yeah, and when she replied to me, she was just like, she couldn't kind of like give me a response in terms of sort of like another image to use. She just didn't like this one, and again she kept going on about this is what I see, and it's really bad, you shouldn't be using this, and things, because I was talking about feeling good about yourself, or feeling better about yourself. And apparently I had just used an image of a lady that I felt that looked really happy and really confident about herself, but apparently it was because she was quite slim, and she was beautiful, and she was white, and in a nice surroundings, and so why wouldn't you feel better about yourself in there? But my experience is you could look like her, you could be, white, you could be, she wasn't kind of like underweight, she was slim, but she wasn't, the image didn't bother you. Oh, thank you, Stacey. No, that's good to know. And I know I put it in my group because, I wanted to check whether it was just me, or whether, whether I was seeing it all wrong. And I think people in the group sort of said that that it didn't bother them either. But so obviously again, I think she was just very triggered by this photo and just kept, kind of kept repeating that all I see is kind of like firm arms, firm toned arms, and this and that and whatever. And I just kind of felt that she wasn't really listening. I was trying to listen to her and kind of like find out where she was, but she wasn't kind of like willing to listen to me because, as somebody who's had anorexia and, somebody that works with people with anorexia now, it's, you look in the mirror and, you don't see what other people see. So you don't kind of, you can be, absolutely tiny. You can have sort of like toned arms, as she sort of said, and, you can look beautiful, etc. But you don't see that. You do not see that. You just look in the mirror and often you just are filled with disgust and hatred towards what you're looking at. So from my perspective, it didn't correlate, and I tried to get that across, and but obviously she wasn't in that place to listen. But I knew that I triggered her, but again it was, so I thought, okay, so I knew that the issue was with her, because actually I ended up deleting those comments because it was on my business page and I didn't want, it's not the sort of thing that I want kind of like attached to my work. If we'd have had a proper conversation around this, then that's absolutely fine, and I'm all for people. And I did say to her that I, respected her opinion, etc. But I just felt that she just wasn't willing to kind of listen, so I deleted this. And the following day, she posted again, sort of like, and basically saying the same thing. So I work with a couple of coaches, and so I asked their opinion and they recommended that I block her. And again, it's not something that I like to do. It's, I don't like to do it, but I also, they basically said that she's trolling you, and I was like, oh, how exciting. But, I hadn't come across that before. Although it was a bit strange, it didn't bother me in the same way, because I probably would have, before I would have just gone into a shell and kind of like wanted to hide and thought, oh gosh, no, I can't ever put anything else out about myself, because what if somebody else sort of like makes a comment or makes a judgment or anything like that. But then I realised that actually, I'm good at what I do. I know from my own personal experience, what it's like to have anorexia, have an eating disorder. I know from talking to my clients, that I'm not the only one who feels exactly the same that I do. My opinion is relevant, and, I have every right to kind of like put out things. And if she doesn't like it, then that's okay. She can just kind of like scroll on. But yeah, I did feel bad initially, but then, like I said, I realised that it was her issue, and I moved forward, and I wouldn't have been able to do that before. But it's really good. It's a really good feeling to sort of like not let things like that bother you, for people to make comments or judgments or things like that about me personally. Feels really good that actually I'm, it's not that I'm kind of, I think I'm above everybody else and I shouldn't be kind of like concerned about, other people or anything like that. It's not what I'm saying at all. But when I kind of like looked to find out, I looked to kind of like sort it out, sort of like properly and kind of like asked their viewpoint. I kind of like looked for further explanation of what the issue was. then I realised that actually, this is their own issue, and kind of like, and that's when I sort of did the blocking and that. And I guess that's sort of like something that on a personal level, you kind of need to do in real life, not only sort of like on, sort of social media and Facebook and things like that. Oh, we love you, don't worry about others. Oh, thank you so much, Stacey, bless you. Love you too. Personal life. The thing is that, we're not gonna be right for everybody. We're not gonna get on with everybody, and we can't waste time worrying about other people and what they think of us, And the thing is that when you have an eating disorder, again, one of the most common beliefs that I come across is I'm not good enough. And if we don't feel good enough, every time somebody challenges us, then we're going to think it's us, that it's our fault, we've done something wrong, we're obviously upsetting people, etc. But when you do feel good about yourself, when you do feel good enough, you can easily sort of like, you have the confidence to kind of like, to go back and sort of like work out, rather than just sort of like, if somebody makes a comment, go, oh, it must be me, and we're buggers for beating ourselves up, and, but we take it all on our own, on ourselves, and we take responsibility for everybody else's feelings, etc., and we think it's all our fault. But yeah, so once we have that kind of good enough feeling, once we feel that confidence, we're able to then, if somebody kind of, makes a comment or says something that we're not sure about, we have that confidence to go and check that out, rather than kind of like fill in the missing blanks and stuff because we don't know the whole story, which obviously then if we don't feel that great about ourselves, we'll always put it back on us. We're able to check it out and say, hang on a minute, what was that all about? What did you really mean by that? And, and sort of like try and talk it through. And if that person is just kind of like has the issue, and it's obvious that they have the issue, then, it's okay to kind of like, to not sort of like have them around some, and it might be somebody that you want to block out your life completely. It might be somebody that you just want to take a step back from, but that is your right, that is okay, because actually you need to do what's good for you. And, and the biggest thing in kind of like feeling better about yourself is surrounding yourself with positive people that don't bring you down, because it's hard enough, when you have an eating disorder, trying to feel, trying to get through the day, trying to feel better about yourself, trying to kind of do things differently. But if you've got somebody that's kind of, being negative around you, and this is a genuine negative, and I know that often, it feels like people are being negative and getting at us and things like that, when often they're not, they're just trying to do their best that they can. But if this is a kind of like direct, kind of like in your face, kind of, negative towards you, then, step back from them and do what you need to do. And it doesn't have to be forever, but it's about you concentrating on you right now and doing what is best for you. Basically, I'd like to invite you to join me, and Stacey, I know you've signed up, so I'm looking forward to doing this next week with you. The Feel Good Enough Challenge, and basically it's running through Facebook next week, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So you need to request to join the anorexia support group, and I'll be doing Facebook Lives in there every day, 12 o'clock GMT time, and I'll be doing the Facebook Lives, giving you information on how to feel good enough and how to feel good about yourself. And then after that, each day I will be sending you an email, so it's important that you sign up and give me your email address so I can then email you with exercises and advice and steps that you need to take in order to put that information, put that theory into practice. And it's not a kind of like, not telling you that in 3 days time you're going to kind of go from, really kind of like really not liking yourself to absolutely loving yourself or anything like that. But it just takes you through the process that you need to go through in order to start making a difference, in order to start opening yourself up to liking yourself, to feeling good enough. And that's what I want to get you to, because that's a big problem for people with eating disorders, and I'm very aware of that. So I just wanted, it's Eating Disorder Awareness Week next week. So in line with that, I just wanted to be able to try and kind of help in some way. And it's a challenge, because you have to kind of, it needs work. It's not just a matter of kind of watching my videos and thinking, oh yeah, I'll do that later. If you want things to change, you need to do the work. It's not going to happen just by clicking your fingers or, as I always say, unfortunately, I have no magic wand. And, and you have to do the work. But, it's a step-by-step process. And as I always say, it's baby steps. So, it's not something that you need to feel overwhelmed about or anything like that. But yeah, so I invite you to come join me next week, starting next Monday, for the Feel Good Enough Challenge. As I say, Facebook Lives, Monday to Wednesday, emails following that every day with directions to steps that you need to take in order to put that into practice, and let's get you feeling good enough. If you know of anybody else that would be interested, or you think, oh yeah, this would be perfect for so-and-so as well, then please invite them to sign up as well. Please share this with them, tell them that would be great to have as many people as possible just supporting each other. Be really, really good. And and I look forward to seeing you in the group and having you feel good about yourself. It would be lovely. And Stacey, thank you again for joining me. It's been lovely to have you on, and thank you so much. You just you are so good in the group, and particularly you support other people in the group so much, and it's lovely to see. And I know you're in America, and so you're not necessarily on the same time zone as us, but you're very much with us as the group. And I know we have people from all around the world in the group as well, and it's just lovely. It's really, really is lovely to have such support in the group, and I feel very blessed to be part of that group. I know it's something that I wanted to set up, and and I couldn't have wished for better people to be in the group. So I really, really thank you for becoming part of this group, and and for contributing and supporting the others in there. It's really great. Thank you very much. Okay, I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening, or Stacey, with you, I think it's your afternoon now. So yes, I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening, and sign up to the challenge, and I will put the link in the comments at the bottom. Okay, take care, lots of love, bye.